This is IGN. Power at a price. This is your IGN review of the PlayStation 5 Pro by Michael Higham. The PlayStation 5 Pro seems like it should be more exciting than it actually is. It's without question the most powerful console you can buy right now, and the enhanced games I've been able to play ahead of launch do look great and run much more smoothly than the standard PlayStation 5 can handle, thanks to some upgraded hardware and impressive upscaling tech. But it's also completely unsurprising that the faster PS5 is, well, faster, and it's also more expensive. Considering that the original PS5 can still provide enough power to run games competently, spending $700 means you have to really want the best of the best from your games to make the Pro a worthy investment. Considering its price, you'll be disappointed to find that the PS5 Pro does not come with every possible bell and whistle. It does pack in a standard DualSense, but there's no vertical stand included, and if you're the type who has a library of physical games, be ready to shell out an extra $80 for a Blu-ray disc drive to install yourself. If you feel like Sony is trying to nickel and dime you on top of the $700 price tag, I'm not going to argue against you. Physically, it's a pretty sleek console relative to the enormous launch PS5, and it largely takes after the design principles of the Slim model. The only major difference is that it's taller when vertical, which is accounted for by the fins in the middle that create a cross-section on the console. It helps make room for the more robust internal components to breathe, but doesn't add much bulk to the existing Slim design. It's also not noticeably louder than the original PS5, so you don't need to worry about it sounding like a jet engine when your games get intense. As far as thermals go, the PS5 Pro runs roughly the same temperature as the base PS5 under load, hovering around 35 to 40 degrees Celsius from the rear exhaust based on our thermal imaging tests. The PS5 Pro's tech gives developers room to be experimental in pushing boundaries, especially with ray tracing, because it packs enough power to hit higher frame rates without sacrificing as much graphical fidelity. There's still some level of compromise to be made, though, so if you were hoping that the Pro would take all of the FOMO stress out of selecting between 60 FPS performance or 30 FPS fidelity modes, there's some bad news. In some games, now there are even more modes to choose from. Alternatively, if you love having more control over how your games run, that's great news. In my experience, though, the visual gap between these modes is much smaller than it is on PS5, often making the Pro's performance-centric modes the clear choice. Despite all these enhancements, the question still stands. Is it actually worth buying a PS5 Pro? The Pro is a hard sell for anybody who expects a whole new experience when they unbox a brand new console. The PS5 Pro doesn't fundamentally transform how games are played, it just makes them look prettier and run smoother. And if you're happy with how your games look and play on a base PS5, then it's absolutely not worth paying a premium to upgrade. Considering that the PS5 generation has largely been described as, what if the PS4 was faster? It's a little difficult to get all that excited about a console that promises to be a faster PS5. The PS5 Pro delivers on that for sure, and if you find the standard PS5 leaving more to be desired from a technical perspective, it's an intriguing prospect. Running Pro-enhanced games in the new performance modes gives you essentially the old fidelity modes now targeting 60 FPS, sometimes with extra improvements. Sony's AI-powered PSSR upscaling tech is certainly impressive when playing games that have been updated for it, giving console players the same type of image quality and frame rate improvements that NVIDIA's DLSS has delivered on the PC side in recent years. You're not entirely free from compromises because you often still have to choose between that new standard and even better-looking fidelity modes at 30 FPS, though I've found going with performance an easier choice. At $700, it's not cheap, so you have to really desire that visual upgrade, knowing that it doesn't transform the gameplay experience at a fundamental level. And to be fair, Sony never said it would. So, as it stands, the PS5 Pro isn't essential, but it is certainly nice to have. The PS5 Pro's IGN score? 7. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and if you want more news on your favorite games and entertainment topics, make sure to visit us at IGN.com. You can also download our free app on your phone or console and subscribe to our weekly podcast through the podcast service of your choice.
Spoken Layer.